Hi guys, it's Melanie again. I'm only going to take a few short minutes to teach you how to brown ground beef. Unfortunately, my camera angles won't really be the best. I'm going to do my best to hold it, to show you some things. I know I'm halfway cut off here. And I've been making a lot of videos today, so I'm mostly going to show you the basics. You may not see the end result, depending upon how long it's going to take me. Plus my boyfriend's due home in a little bit, so I'm probably just gonna wrap the video up a little bit earlier than what I should. But I just want to give you guys a basic concept of how to do it. Well, the first thing you want to do is get a skillet or some form of a frying pan. I prefer a deep one because I'm not just browning ground beef for tacos. I'm actually making the Velveeta cheesy skillet and Nacho Supreme. So, and again, I don't own any part of anything I'm showing you. I just want to show you the brown the ground beef to get ready to make the food. Browning ground beef usually takes about 10 minutes or so. And what you want to do is get your ground beef. I have this one. You want to, if you've had it in the freezer, you'll want to defrost it. So you may want to pull it out the night before. Or if you can't do that, put it in some really warm or hot water. Just that way that, you don't want frozen. You may even have to microwave it a little, though I wouldn't really suggest that. It's okay if the inside's a little brown, it's like what ground beef looks like. I'm sorry to you people who don't like meat at all. And that you saw it, but I don't think you'd be clicking on a video that says how to brown ground beef. So basically what you want to do is, and there's going to be a little bit of blood in there, but I'm going to seal that back up so it doesn't get everywhere. Alright. Basically, you're going to have it in here. You're going to want to turn your fire or heat on to, I have mine just 3 pegs above medium. Depending upon what kind of food you are making is if you want to add what kind of spices. If you're making tacos, obviously it's going to be with taco seasoning, so you're not going to want to add anything to it really. If you're making a box thing like I am, it's going to have seasoning already in it, so you're not going to want to change the flavor of the meat too much because that's already going to have a certain flavoring. And if you add let's say garlic to this, it's not going to taste right with the nacho thing. Or even with the taco. But let's say if you're just making ground beef, you're going to make spaghetti and you're going to want a meat sauce. You want to make a homemade meat sauce. You could add garlic to it then to give it a garlic meat sauce taste. And I pretty much, when I make it, when I'm making a box thing, or if I always add salt and pepper to any of the meat I make. Not a lot, I put maybe a couple flips of the salt, hitting it twice just to get it to come out. So you don't want really a lot of salt in there, but I don't know, for some reason it seems like it cooks a little faster when I do it like that. So just a little bit of pepper. It's a little bit much, but I'm not gonna add any garlic like I would if I was making pasta. I'd add garlic to this and mix it together. But because I am not making any kind of a pasta, and I am making a taco or Nacho Supreme item, usually you can put this in a bowl, but anyways, that's the spicing. You can add whatever spices you like, but if you're making something that you're going to add spicing in later, that's going to count that conflict with what you're currently making, that I would advise you just use whatever the box gives you instead of, trying to season it. But if you're just making pasta with it, or just making ground beef itself, or hamburgers, or something along that line, it's okay to season your meat. But if you're making tacos, again, I know I'm repeating myself 4 freaking times with the same thing, but I just want to emphasize, or however you pronounce that word, that you don't want to make conflicting flavors with it. Some people like a lot of garlic, and even with certain things they will prefer garlic with it, but I personally don't want to taste garlic with my Nacho Supreme or my tacos or whatever I decide to make, or my chili, whatever I decide to use my ground beef for. And what you'll want to do is you usually put it in a bowl, add your seasoning, then you put it in the skillet, and then you just start slowly like breaking it down like this. Like keep going like this while it's on the fire, keeping it as warm as possible. You want to use your biggest burner, depending upon how big your skillet is. If your skillet's smaller than your burner, move it to a slightly smaller burner, because you don't want to risk accidentally something touching the bigger burner that's still on. Like this is a really big skillet, so I have it on my biggest burner that I have. And basically you just want to keep like moving the meat a bit and kind of like chopping it in half to make sure it cooks evenly. And you want to make sure that your meat cooks all the way through. Like, I know chicken takes, like, the longest to cook. And, like, roast, like, all kinds of roast takes really long to cook. Chicken, pork chops takes really long. To get your ground beef to cook all the way through, it takes about 10 minutes. I usually go for about 12 just to ensure that it's cooked, because if you eat undercooked meat, you will get really sick, especially if it's fish or chicken, because I think fish have like salmonella or something in it that can get you like a really bad food poisoning, like if it's not properly done. Like I know sushi is raw, but I think they do I believe they do something to it to like take away something or like sanitize it or something. I don't really know too much about sushi, so I don't really eat it. I tried it, I wasn't really a big fan of it. But that's the basic core concept of this, is just keep stirring the meat with your spatula, kind of keep it from burning, and like flipping it over to get all the sides done. And just want to, it's basically giving you like the basics of browning the ground beef. Like I don't think you guys want to sit here for 10 minutes and listen to me babble on about it. Though I want to attempt to stay on for like a little bit longer. So I'll try and show you guys, because you saw how raw it was, and it's still a little pink in the middle, but this is kind of what it looks like. That. You can see the steam coming up. It's still pink right now. You'll get sizzling and all that. Depending upon what you're making, you want to drain the meat, that sauce that comes out on the bottom. Like it's like grease or fat or something along that line. I always have a hard time draining it because like meat falls down the sink and it tends to get like a lot in there. Like a lot of the juice tends to come out. But some people like that juice still, some people don't. I can never figure out how to properly drain it because my meat always gets so small that it would go through one of those drainers you put, I believe they're called scolapastas, that you drain your pasta in. So I could never like figure out how to properly drain the meat without losing like half of it down the sink. Admittedly, the skillet's kind of big for like, this is like 1 pound of ground beef. Usually this can hold up to 3, I believe. And usually I use like a full pound, but my other skillets are too small to do a pound in, especially since I am making the skillet dinner thing. I know I say thing and like a lot, and I tend to talk with my hands a lot. I'm sorry if that's a little annoying to people. But yeah, like, gotta stop saying that. Anyways, how you tell without actually eating any of the meat if it's done is you like leave some of the chunks like a little bit bigger instead of constantly chopping them all up. You leave like a few like slightly bigger chunks. You take your spatula and kind of slice it down the center, and then you check and see if it's pink. If it's still pink or isn't like all the way brown through, then it's not done yet. And if you're still unsure, just give it like an extra like minute or so, maybe 2 minutes depending upon how long it's been. 'Cause it's been 9 minutes now, and this is like pretty much done. Yeah, it's like done, but I tend to give mine a couple extra minutes, mostly because I get kind of nervous that it's not going to be all the way cooked through, and I'm going to bite into it raw, and it's going to completely ruin the meal, or get me and my boyfriend sick, and that's just not something I want for either of us, and not something I want for anybody who watches any of these videos if they go to make it. I don't want them getting sick, and that'd be horrible if you guys got sick. So what you really want to do is, if you're not sure, 'cause it's been officially 10 minutes now, and all the ones I've cut open are done. Yeah, they're all done and cooked all the way through. I usually, just for my own peace of mind, I give them like probably 11 or 12 minutes because I kind of freak out like that. But also you gotta remember, if you are doing like a skillet dinner, you know, it will continue to cook because you got the other ingredients that you gotta cook. And again, my phone decides to go off while I'm talking. Sorry, that's probably gonna be really loud for you guys. I apologize for that. But alright, if you're doing it with pasta, like when you get to this point where it's brown like this, you should already, before you even start doing your ground beef, already go ahead and get your pasta ready and start boiling it and getting that set up so your noodles are getting close to done, and then go ahead and do the ground beef, because the ground beef will get done a lot faster and it will kind of be cold by the time the noodles get done if you do the ground beef thing first. I found that out the hard way. Also, you can add your like sauce, like traditional sauce, on top of the ground beef and let it warm up with the ground beef after you're done browning it. So that way, like if you're like 10 minutes in, you're like, I'm not sure, you've like tested it, you're like, I don't know if I would consider this done or not. That, turn back on. But yeah, that's basically it. Like, you can still cook pasta sauce with this after you're done browning it. And I'm gonna go ahead and go so that way I can repause the TV and check the text and finish making dinner. So I will talk to you all later. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and watch my other video. Alright, love you guys. Bye. Mwah.